to introduce you to our next guest, that is Ingrid Bico. And Ingrid Bico, I have the pleasure to collaborate with Ingrid. Hi, Ingrid.
Hi, hello, Carla. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine, thank you. And nice to meet you here. And it's a wonderful moment to have this opportunity to discuss, to have this conversation with you online in this wonderful space organized by POLIMI. And I would like to start introducing Ingrid. Ingrid is a young designer and also a journalist previously, in her previous life. And she is very active in the DESIS network and specifically in the Rio DESIS Lab, where she have been now. She's coordinating and leading, and one of the students leading the DESIS Students Initiative. That is a new initiative of DESIS Network. At the same time, she's also starting to work as a designer. So she's working to match these two activities in her life as almost a former student and transitioning to a designer, full designer working. And today I would like to talk with you, Ingrid, about how you are sailing. This is the issue of our conversation, how you are sailing this. So, Ingrid, I would like to start like we are connected all over the world here, I hope. And I would like to start to ask, where are you? And so where are you? I'm in Rio de Janeiro, and you?
Yes, you are in Rio. This is where we met because I am in the final year of my graduation in design at UFRJ. It's the Federal University of Rio, but I am from Belém. It's the capital of the state called Pará. It's in the northeast part of Brazil. So thanks to all the digital technologies, we can be connected today and continuing our relationship that started at the university, and now we can manage to work together even if we are far away from each other, which is super nice, and I'm very thankful for this opportunity. So as you said, the title, the spirit of this event is the sailing of the designing world. So I would say that this navigation is pretty real for me because I've been traveling from Belém to Rio and then to Rio, from Rio to Belém, and this is a very interesting scenario that have impacted my design practice all along. And I feel very happy to have the opportunity of mixing these two words, like my hometown word and the things I learned in university in my design practice. As you said, I'm transitioning from a student spirited moment to a professional designer life. And yeah, I'm struggling a little bit, as you can imagine, but so far so good. So I think we're fine.
But Ingrid, I would like to focus in this idea that you are a student and you are building up your understanding how you are constituting yourself, like how you are understanding design. And so I would like to invite you to say how you would like to introduce yourself today.
Okay, as a student, I would say that I'm a very curious person, and as a design student, I've been, I don't know, kind of building a history of constructing and developing new ideas, always with other students. So as you mentioned it in the beginning of this conversation, I am currently in Rio DESIS Lab. That is a laboratory of design with along other students, I can develop new ideas, new projects. And the fundamental thing that I would highlight here is that we are very autonomous, very independent to create and to manage our own projects. But it's interesting because this dynamic, it's very natural. It's not something that was imposed to us or demanded. It was something very spontaneous, you know. So the group got together, and with the support of our professors, our teachers, we could build a lot of initiatives. And this kind of autonomy and ability of dealing with different people with different backgrounds has helped me a lot to understand my design practice and to make some choices that sometimes can be hard, but we can work better if we have more experience on different subjects. And this part of me being a student at Rio Design Lab has for sure enhanced my ability of sensing if I am going into the right or wrong direction, and also has helped me to balance what I want with what is possible at the moment, because it's very subtle, the difference, you know. So I think being with other students has helped me I don't know, to see things better. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, sure. And so as we are talking about sailing, so I will bring the question, like, how have you sailed as a student, navigated in this recent past that we have with the COVID and all the situation, and also in the way you are in one DESIS lab, but also very active in this connection with all the DESIS all over the world. That was very, very interesting and important moments of connection. So how do you live this situation, local and global, and connected, and local challenges, please?
Yeah, it sounds a lot, but actually it's very pleasant, this navigation flow, because I started in the design world wanting to be an animator, and then some point along the process I have turned it into a service design, which is something that leads me to think I am a very community-based person, so that's why it's very important for me to connect with other students. And the COVID situation was very hard for everyone, I believe, at the beginning, and it's still hard. But for us, it brought a lot of changes in the way we did our projects. So the major change I would highlight is the not being able to be there with the people in the community in the city. So we moved our activities totally to the online world, and it was very hard to do this transition. But thanks to all of our team, this was possible, and we could find other ways of connecting us with the city, even though if we couldn't be there in person. And thanks to that, I can be here in Belém, and the team can be all over Brazil, because we have people living in different states. But we also developed something that was possible because these connections of I am being here, you being there, other students from other countries being in their hometowns. So based on our experience in Rio Design Lab, we started to think, what if other students from other countries have the same spirit and they want to connect with other design students to share their experiences, their thoughts, their ideas, maybe work in some projects together to collaborate. And we started to think of creating a network for students, you know, from students, because we are students in Rio Design Lab, but we wanted to connect with others. So we started developing an initiative called Design Students, because we are a Design Lab. So we wanted to continue the work we already do at the Rio Design Lab. And COVID situation, as I said, was very hard. So we started from there. Who are the DESE students? Where you are in the world? How is COVID situation affecting your activities? And we ran a series of conversations with different students from other countries, and that was the beginning of the network that today has evolved to a network still at the early stages, but with different projects. We have a website, we have an Instagram account, so things got very real, which makes me happy because I met a lot of people along this process, people from Finland, from Russia, from South Korea, Canada, South Africa, and I was very pleased to see that my vulnerabilities, my struggles, my difficulties, my crisis, like, oh my God, what I'm doing, is it right or wrong, were also common things for the other students. So I think this connected us in a much more closer way, So the networks is still going on. We are still working and developing different projects, but I think the future for this network can be amazing because of the people involved in it. And I would like to extend this invitation to any design students in the world. If you want to join us or know what we do, what we can do, what we have done in the past, you can always get in touch with us, and feel free to make your contributions, or I don't know, send your projects. Feel free to participate because this network is for us.
Great, Ingrid. So you are already started to answer my next question to you. So in this conversation, I'm following how you are developing with other students. I'm helping supporting this process, and is being a lot of lessons learned also for us professors, or how we can rethink and reimagine our relation in this process of social innovation. So it's been quite powerful, and I think that it has I hope a lot of future for us in this mutual learning process. So so you have started to answer, because we're now talking about sailing the present. So I know I was with you in Rio Desis Lab, and we all know how it was difficult for us to move our activities online and so on. But Desis students also is being developed in this moment. So we are intensifying our digital connections. We are able to, I know, and you have organized workshops and activities with these students. So you have also started to mention. And so please, Ingrid, maybe you can also help us to know more how you are sailing the present as a young designer and student. So today. So
yeah, perfect. It's because for me everything is connected, so sometimes it's hard to know when a subject can be not linked to the other. So I'm sorry for answering your questions in advance, but I will try to explain the other part of my present, because that as a student is a huge part of it. But as you also said at the beginning of this talk, I am starting to enter the professional world, as you say, as designer, as a service designer. So it's very interesting to see how these words are linked, but not exactly with the same purposes, because in university you have different, how can I say, different ideas and possibilities. You are learning so much, you have so much to discover and to develop, and everything is so exciting, and you want always more. How can I do this or that? And once you enter the professional world, the world where you are a designer, you have to make choices because the time is limited. You don't have you have certain freedom, but you don't have the same how can I frame it? You don't have the same array of possibilities you can follow because you have deadlines to follow. You have a budget. You have a lot of things that impact your work. And as we know that no designer is an island. We can't do all the work alone. So we have to balance our expectations with that job or that project with our dreams, our bills, the real life stuff. So when I look at my my university world, I see a lot of things that I learned and that had helped me to be here where I am now. And I can apply a lot of that in my job as a designer consultant, the service design consultant for now. And I think it's beautiful how we can navigate this world, but sometimes it can make us a little bit anxious or, I don't know, frustrated sometimes. So I think this network, the DESIS students network that I mentioned before, it's a very important way for us to share our frustrations, for instance, because we share a lot of content, a lot of skills, we do workshops, we do lectures online. We can always learn something new, but sometimes we forget to talk about our expectations that didn't come true. We forget to talk about our vulnerabilities as designers because we tend to give solutions to everything because we are designers. And sometimes we forget that we are also people. People have feelings, have struggles, have difficulties, have dreams and expectations. And I think it's very important if we have a safe space of dialogue where we can talk about all of this stuff. So at the moment, I am trying to balance my final year of graduation with this new professional design world. So sometimes they collide, but most of the time I think the navigation has been very easy and very pleasant because I try not to put so much pressure on myself. It's not always like this, but I try my best.
Thank you, Ingrid. It's amazing. I'm very happy that you as a student is here on stage with us today. So we have this opportunity also to see things on how you are living this, and it's been also very interesting in terms of someone that is interact with you as a professor to see how we have building how you are developing this process and trying to support this. It's not easy, but it's a way that we think about how we can understand ourselves even more as someone that promotes social innovations, and how we can organize this in our everyday. And this is about time. I know that you like this word a lot. It's about time, yes. And we have discussed about this. So the past and the present. So navigating this situation between past structures and situations and possibilities of the future. So in all our work and collaborations in the Rio Desis Lab is being about how. It's about how yes. to do that. So I really think that is something that we should discuss even more. And yes. So yes, there is no right answers, but everyone is trying to make this transition to a better future, but also maintaining some connections with the past needed and transitioning also in a personal level. So we talk about past, present, so what you're living today, and now we could talk about how we're gonna how you're gonna say, or how you think you are going to sail the future, or how we're looking ahead, or how do you think that what you're doing today will, how it's gonna happen, and how you're gonna, I don't know, some projections that you may have about this. It's a little bit open question, I know, and very challenging, but we can discuss. I don't know.
It's a very,
let's discover.
Yeah. It's a very difficult question because in the previous life, that is what I called before COVID, because COVID changed everything in my perspective. I had everything figured out. I knew what I wanted to do and the goals, where I wanted to study, etc. But now things have been, how can I say, a little bit confusing because of all of these changes. I've been living in Rio, for instance, for the past 7 years, and now I am in Belém because of this pandemic situation. And I'm grateful for being here because it was a very good decision of moving back home. But also my future, my plans for the future have changed because I kind of tried to not put so much pressure on planning things because everything could change from a minute to the other. So now my plan is to finish this graduation in the best way I can. Unfortunately, I think it will be online. I won't be able to see all my colleagues because we all will have to graduate virtually, but I'm very happy we can at least see each other through the screens. And for the future, in the bigger picture, as I would say, I think I will always try to balance these two words because I don't see myself leaving the university. I love the university, the spirit of the academic stuff, you know, like researching and trying to implement new ideas. The social innovation studies we develop at Rio Design Lab are very important, and they have a very profound impact in the society, you know. We like to say that our actions are really small, but if a lot of people do that, these small actions, the change in the world can be very big. So we always try to think locally because we have boundaries, territory boundaries, but we always try to think that our micro actions, you know, can have a huge impact and can expand their range of people interested in changing things. Because if we don't start the change, it won't happen. So I think my future it's a mystery. I do happen, but I think as long as I am true to my values, to the things I believe that are valuable in the design practice, I think everything will be fine. It's a very general answer, but I try not to be very specific these days because, as I said, things are changing very fast. We are living the transition phase, you know, so it's very hard to plan something when you are not sure. Well, we are never sure, right? Carla, sorry, I think
thank you, Ingrid. And have you, so the other claim of this conversation is no designer is an island. You have talked a lot about how you connected with other students and the importance for you on that. And I think that maybe we can say you could develop more how you are sailing this future together. So you mentioned you are connected with your students or in other levels where you are.
Well, you followed this process because we have been working together in Rio Design Lab for a few years now, and we started as a team of 3 or 4 people, I think. And today we have like 20 students working together in different projects, and it's very interesting to see how each one of these students have developed their abilities and their sense of responsibility, you know, myself included, because sometimes when you are given a task or when you receive a demand of doing something and you don't know how to do it and you are alone, it's much more harder to achieve what you want. When you work in group, it's easier, but it's easier to do the project, the job, whatever, but it can be hard at the level of relationships because people are very different. So you have to learn how to manage your personality with the personality of the others, while giving space to other ideas to grow and knowing that there is no right or wrong approach or answer. So working together with other students, especially in Rio Design Lab, because I am from visual communication design course, and we have students from social sciences, public management, and other titles working in the lab. So the visions of each person were very complementing, you know. So working together, it's a very rich, it's very productive, because you can learn faster and you can learn things that you wouldn't probably if you didn't have contact with this person. So I think we grew together, and we are stronger together, you know, because the projects have more, how can I say it? They are more robust, more how can I don't know? They are stronger than a project that I would do for myself, you know, or with my own ideas or with 1 or 2 people. I think our group is very diverse. It's very active also. Every person in the group has a sense of responsibility, so we can trust in each other, and trust is a very important issue when you work with someone. And also another thing that I would highlight in the few minutes we have left is the part of controlling, you know, because designers tend to want the control of the process. Once you start something, you want to know what's going to happen. You plan something and you want the plan to go smoothly, and you want to see the steps you project. And sometimes I would say all of the times it's not what happens. So having different people involved in the project can give you a sense of, oh, that's okay if my plans didn't work out, because we have other people that trust each other and we can work together to find a way of solving it.
Ingrid, I have been in some activities. I have been collaborating with you with some activities of DESI students, and there were a lot of aspects to be highlighted here if you want, like the different cultural backgrounds and how that was this learning between you all and us together in these events. So it was very powerful. And of course, just to give some feedbacks also for us as professors, is there were some professors there. It was very interesting to see how potentially powerful it will be, the issues raised, the how you use visuals to overcome language gaps, and so how do you manage? I'm just highlighting some issues because there are so many things. So it was really important and powerful. So Ingrid, I would like to say thank you very much. It was
thank you.
Was very. I'm just this idea to be here online was to bring to enlarge our conversations. So please, I think that we can continue offline.
Yes, of course.
And we can also connect with people that are here to us. Please look for us.
Yes. I'm all ears.
We are in Instagram, and we are
everywhere.
We have a lot of channels. So thank you, Ingrid. I would like to leave the floor for the next conversation that's going to start.